You know this, that you need to start. You knew it yesterday too, last week too, and still you haven't started. But here's the interesting thing. You are not lazy. You're aware of this too. Lazy people don't think this much. So why can't you start? Really, the answer isn't lack of motivation. The answer isn't lack of discipline. Those answers are too easy, and you've already tried them. They didn't work, so there must be something else. And that thing is what we're going to talk about here today. Let me tell you this. Not being able to start is not a character flaw. Not being able to start is a mechanism, and that mechanism is working in you right now, probably even as you watch this video. It's not that you don't want to start. Starting feels dangerous, and you're not fully aware of it yet. I'm not going to tell you this. Just start. Take small steps. Believe in yourself. If you're watching this video, those sentences don't make you feel anything because you've already tried, and still you didn't start. So that's not the issue. The issue is deeper, and we're going to look there together. I've noticed this. In the moments you're about to start, something inside you changes. Right at that moment. Not a voice, a feeling, a heavy feeling, and you pull back without even realizing it. So what is that feeling? I won't answer that now, but keep it in mind. Think about this. You have lists, you have plans, maybe you have notes. Maybe for months you've been saying, I'll start tomorrow. And every morning, the same thing. You don't start. But here's the interesting part. You never stop thinking about starting. You don't start, but you don't quit either. Is this a coincidence? It's not. And inside this cycle, there are exactly three things. Three reasons. We'll see them shortly. But let me tell you this now. One of these reasons will unsettle you. This is something you're already doing every day, and you don't see it as a problem. Imagine this. Morning, phone in hand. You haven't gotten out of bed yet, and it crosses your mind. I'm starting today. You really feel this. There's a determination. Then breakfast. Then in a little while. Then it's afternoon. Then it's too late for today. Then the same decision for tomorrow. How many times have you lived this cycle? I wonder, when was the last time you started something easily? Think, really, was there something? Maybe watching a movie. Maybe texting someone. Maybe researching something. Starting those things wasn't hard. Why? What was different? Does the answer seem simple to you? It's not. Starting those things was easy because even if you failed, you wouldn't lose anything. Think, what if you don't like the movie? Nothing. But if you start that big thing and it doesn't work out, then you lose something. Your hope. And losing hope feels heavier than failure. Puts pressure on you. Stop for a moment. I said this. Starting feels dangerous. Now we can get a little closer. Where is the danger? Not outside. Inside. If you start, the I could have done it dream ends. And that dream gives you something. Do you recognize this moment? You're thinking about doing something. For a long time, someone comes and asks, when are you starting? And a feeling passes through you. A slight tightness. And you say, soon.
I'm preparing. Kropka.
When the time is right. And that moment passes. You relax. But saying soon actually means, I'm not taking a risk yet. Preparing is sometimes not for starting. Sometimes it's a tool for not starting. This is hard to hear. But think about this. How long have you been preparing? How long have you been waiting for the right time? And has that time ever come? Waiting for the right time can sometimes last a lifetime. At the beginning, I said, starting feels dangerous. Now you see why. Starting can end the feeling of maybe I can. And you don't want to lose that feeling. Subscribe to my channel and find more content for yourself because that feeling is good. That feeling keeps you alive. I left a question earlier. What was that heavy feeling you had when you were about to start? Now I can say it. That feeling is preparing for disappointment. Before you even start, before you've even begun, you are mourning inside. What if it doesn't work out? And that question stops you without waiting for an answer. You're not afraid of failing. You're afraid of losing hope. So why is this feeling so strong? Why is it so automatic? There are three reasons, and you have all of them. First reason, starting means being seen, and being seen means being judged. As long as you're thinking, no one sees. As long as you're planning, no one can evaluate. But if you start, something emerges, and that thing might not be good, and someone might see. Or worse, you might see it yourself. Do you recognize this moment? You wrote something, or made something, or tried something, and you looked at it, and inside you, this isn't good enough. This isn't what I expected. And you didn't try again, because seeing it once was enough. That feeling of not good enough made the next start even harder. You experienced disappointment once, and in that moment, a rule was written inside you. Don't start. You'll get hurt. And this is exactly what you do. I want to ask this. If no one were going to see, what would you do tonight? Leave that inside you. Second reason, starting means testing yourself, and the test result can be scary. When you start, it's no longer, I could do it. The question, can I do it, begins. And the answer to that question feels safer not knowing. As long as you don't know, there's still hope, no risk. But why do you do this? Come with me. Do you recognize this moment? There's an area you think you could be very good at, writing, or creating something, or a skill, and you never entered that area. Or you did, but stayed on the surface. because if you go deep, you might see your limit, and that limit might be closer than you imagine. Saying, maybe this isn't for me, hurts less than saying, I tried and it didn't work. Not starting is postponing bad news about yourself, and this is exactly what you do. Third reason, as long as you don't start, anything is possible. When you start, only one path remains. Right now, imagining starting is nice. Anything could happen. Any outcome is possible. But if you start, reality begins. And reality is always more limited than imagination. Do you recognize this moment? There's something you've been thinking about for a long time, and someone asks, why don't you do it? And deep down, but you say, I don't have time. The conditions aren't right. I need to prepare a little more. And that answer feels true. But the real answer is this. When you start, the dream will end. And you're afraid of your dream ending. 3 reasons I've listed. All of them are inside you, within. This isn't just about that big thing you need to do. Everywhere. You have an idea. Came months ago. You're still thinking about it. You'll research a little more. You'll prepare a little more. And that idea stays perfect in your head. Because as long as it doesn't come out, no one sees it. The idea in your head always looks better than the one you've realized. You want to tell someone something. Maybe your feelings. Maybe a boundary. Maybe an apology. And you're always waiting for the right moment. But that moment never comes. Because saying it initiates a reaction. And the reaction is beyond your control. Not saying it keeps the relationship as you imagine it. You want to change something about your family, conversation, a boundary, a change. And you always postpone it. Because if you start, things might shake. And that shake, how that shake will end is uncertain. Not starting is sometimes to keep the relationship as is. Crosses your mind. What would change if I started today anyway? Already too late. It won't work out for me. And these voices come before you start, as if they're on protection duty. Don't start, you'll be disappointed. And you believe these voices because they're not wrong. They're just incomplete. You're standing before a big decision. And you research more. One more piece of information. One more opinion. And this research never ends. Because enough information doesn't bring enough confidence. And enough confidence never comes. Researching is sometimes not for starting, but for justifying not starting. I'll start on Monday, at the beginning of the month, from the new year, and that day comes, and something happens, a small thing, and you say, this week won't work next week, and the cycle continues. The Monday expectation is a ritual. Its real function is to organize not starting. You don't say you've started, not to anyone, because if you say it, you'll be asked, how's it going? And that question is very heavy. Starting is hard, but not starting after saying you've started is harder. Staying silent is keeping the right to withdraw. Think about this. If it were guaranteed, if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do tonight? Really, right now, tonight, that thing, what does it tell you? At the beginning, I said, starting feels dangerous. Now you see it more clearly. The danger is this. If you start, reality begins. And reality might not be as beautiful as the dream. And you live carrying this possibility every day. But think about this too. Every day you don't start, something ends. Quietly, without you noticing. That idea gets a little older. That hope gets a little heavier. That I can do it voice gets a little quieter. Waiting feels safe, but waiting also has a cost. And at this point, we need to see this. You don't start, but you don't quit either. And between these two, subscribe to my channel and find more content for yourself. A part of your life passes by, thinking, planning, preparing, but without moving. This is a waiting room, and you've locked yourself in it. And I've noticed this. This isn't just about that one thing. There's an identity of someone who doesn't start. And this identity feels familiar over time. Comfortable. That's just how I am. I've always been like this. But this identity, you didn't choose it. It formed over time. And everything that forms can be transformed. Now I can say it. The reason you can't start isn't motivation. The reason isn't discipline. The reason is this. Starting means risking yourself. And you never learned to risk yourself. Maybe you weren't taught. Maybe you tried once and it hurt. Maybe the people around you didn't start either. And you learned to wait, prepare, but don't go. For years, you've been conditioned to feel, I'll start when I'm ready, when the right time comes, when conditions improve. But ready isn't a feeling. Ready is a decision. And that decision, you've always put off until later. You're waiting to feel ready. But the feeling of readiness comes after you start. I asked this earlier. If no one were going to see, what would you do tonight? Now we can get a little closer. That answer knows what you want, but something stops you. And that something isn't outside. It's inside. It's not the conditions that stop you. It's the meaning you give to the conditions. And now you realize this. The reason you can't start is what starting means. Starting isn't just an action. Starting is a risk. Starting is the possibility of loss. Starting is facing reality. And facing reality is one of the hardest things. But running from reality also has a cost. And you've been paying that cost for years. I asked a question at the beginning. Why can't you start? start? Now you know the answer, because starting isn't just doing. Starting is moving from being a dream to being real. And in that transition, things can be lost. And you couldn't bear that loss. Not yet, but I've noticed this. It doesn't end with just not starting. Something also happens when you do start. You go for a while, then you stop. Just as starting is hard, continuing becomes hard too. And these two things come from the same root, from a deeper place. We haven't gotten there yet. And I want to ask you one last thing. Right now, before this video ends, what is it that's really holding you back from starting? Not motivation, not time, not conditions. Really, the name of that thing, write it in the comments, because writing it is already a beginning. Subscribe to my channel and find more content for yourself.